Goliath, and he comes out to face the forces of Israel. He's over 9 feet tall, and he wore a bronze helmet and a bronze coat of mail that weighed over 125 pounds. He also wore bronze-like armor and carried a bronze javelin on his shoulder. So the dude is pretty extra, am I right? Not only is he this legit, born to be a champion, but he has everything he needs to win the battle. So imagine the surprise of Saul's army when this little pipsqueak David walks in. He's like, "Hey Saul, put me in, I'm ready to fight." And Saul's like, "No, are you kidding?" He literally said, "No, don't be ridiculous. You're just a boy, and this man has been a man of war since his youth. There's no way you can possibly win." But David persisted. And he said, "I've been taking care of my father's sheep and goat, and when a lion or a bear came to steal a lamb from the flock, I would go after it with a club and rescue it. And if the animal would turn on me, I would club it to the death. I have done this for both lions and bears, and I'll do it again for the Philistine too, for he defied the armies of the living God. And the same God that rescued me from the club of the lions and bears will rescue me again from the Philistine too. So put me in. I'm ready to fight." And Saul said, "All right, go ahead, and may the Lord be with you." I think that this is such a beautiful moment of somebody showing extraordinary faith and believing in something that God could do through him. You know, sometimes you have to forget about what you can do and focus on what God needs to do through you for such a time as this. And I began to learn that in my life through different giants that I've faced. In fact, the first time I got asked to come on the Winter Jam tour, I said no. But my mom said yes. That's when things got tricky because she kind of made me go. And I was so mad at her because I was battling this giant called fear. Fear began to consume my life. I began saying yes to fear and not yes to the freedom of faith. I began believing in fear and not believing in faith in what my God needed to do through me. And so I said no. But when my teammate, my mom, said yes, I had to go. Because my mom wasn't focusing on what I could do, but she was focusing on what God needed to do through me in this generation for such a time as this. And I'm so glad she did that. Because when I came out on this Winter Jam tour, scared to death to go on stage, not knowing what to say, I began to realize what it meant to trust God. It's saying yes even when all the odds are against you. It's taking that leap of faith and just expecting God to catch you, being expectant of his love and walking in such freedom. And I'm so glad she taught me that lesson because now I've been able to see many others come to that same conclusion. I was at Pepperdine University the other day and I was visiting a good friend of mine. And she said, "Sadie, do you mind if we meet up with this guy that I'm friends with? He's going through a really hard time, battling fear, and I think that you could help him." And I said, "Well, yeah, of course, I'd love to." So I meet up with this guy and I introduce myself and we get to talking. And as we're talking, I start to realize how intelligent this guy is, how smart he is, and how his words are so deep and so profound. And I'm thinking, wow, how in the world is God going to use me to talk to him? But doors keep opening as our conversation goes on, and I say, "So I hear you're mad at God. Is there anything you want to talk about?" He said, "Yeah, I'd love to talk about it." He said, "I was born deaf. And for a long time in my life, I was so mad at God for putting me in that situation. But now, I thought what was the answer to my prayers. I had this surgery and I can hear now, but I'm still battling the bitterness towards God because I talk funny. And I'm constantly in fear of what other people are saying about me, what other people are thinking about me. And with this, I can't even live a normal lifestyle." And I said, "What are you so afraid of? What's holding you back?" And he said, "My speech is my weakness." And when he said that, I just heard Holy Spirit say, "Oh, but if he could see that his words are his strength." You see, sometimes what the world and what the enemy will throw in your face and define as your weakness, God